Today's event, while sponsored by the CNCI, as I said, it's not about our institutions. It's about how we plan for the future. We've brought together a range of politicians, policymakers, representatives from the very broad cultural sector here, from the arts, from heritage, from language organisations, from the academic community, and you're all very welcome.
As Angus said, we're going to talk about, celebrating the growth in cultural imagination, the investment in things cultural in the sector. But I think we're also going to talk about the fact that in a republic, our patrons are the people, and how do we engage that wider public, both in the arts, supporting the arts, and also defending the place of the arts in our national life.
Culture will move anywhere where there is a vacuum and take power. In Ireland, between the fall of Parnell and the 1916 rebellion, culture, the poems of Yeats, the plays of Synge, the translations of Lady Gregory, moved into the centre and held power. But culture's interest in the body politic is merely a minor thing. It is never the point. Because what painters and composers and writers and other artists are interested in, and will always be interested in, is not the body, but the soul. We are on earth for the same reason as the devil is in the world. We wish to take souls. When anyone makes the argument that culture should pay for itself, this terrible silence which pierces the air should be the only response. There is nothing more to say. When you do not pay for culture, you get a gnarled silence.
Culture can promote social cohesion, but not in a way perhaps that is statistically measurable. We all, in our different ways in museums and galleries, play the numbers game, but what matters is the quality of the experience we offer.
My vision for the future is that the imaginative reservoir continues to ebb and flow and to leak and drip and be a threat as well as a continuous comforting, irrigating presence in our lives. And I hope that the channels, both in and out of that reservoir, increase in number and in variety.
The last census shows that 10% of people living in Ireland are now foreign nationals. I would like to argue that Ireland can only be better for it if it finds a way to harness all the goodness, the strength, the skills, and the expertise that inward migration brings with it.
We do not currently have a sophisticated habit of patronage for the arts, partly because we have only recently become a wealthy society, and partly because there is insufficient incentive in our current tax regime for corporate and private giving. And this is something, of course, which does need to be addressed by our government.
No matter what the governance structure, the board structure, no matter what the funding arrangements, no matter what the framework of accountability or measurement, the bottom line is, for any cultural institution, is whether you're working to create a more equal society or you're working to reinforce the current regime of inequality. Neutrality is not possible.
We are endowed with the most magnificent collections imaginable. We have only barely begun to do justice to the collections that were assembled by our Victorian forebears. We always have to be led by the collections. We cannot put history on pages, on walls.
Today's conference provides the occasion to reflect on how to grasp opportunities. Politicians operate in the realm of the possible. Your task is to paraphrase George Bernard Shaw, to dream things that never were and say, why not? So I suppose you operate in the realm of the impossible. I would like to acknowledge the role of the National Council of Cultural Institutions in articulating the case for investment in culture. Its submission to me last year set out cogently the arguments in favour of supporting investment in culture, and was particularly valuable to me in seeking the inclusion of a chapter on culture in the NDP.
We've talked about a lot today, but I think probably at the end of the day, two of the things that come through are the need to communicate better, the need to communicate in a language that ordinary people understand, and the need perhaps for the culture and arts community to find a language that is laden with its own values rather than the values perhaps of the economists or indeed even, excusing your presence, Mark, of sociologists.
So